everyone, welcome back to Through Inquisitive Kids. This lesson we're going to be looking at multiple problems and they're all going to have to work with remainders. So let's first think about what are remainders. So remainders, right? You can see the word remain in there, remain. So what is remain after you divide? Let's first look at this model right here. So right here, this is our divisor and this is our dividend. A divided by B. And the solution is called a quotient. So the answer to a division problem is the quotient. Just like for addition problems, that's sum. For division, that's quotient. And now we're going to, so this right here, this is a capitalized R and it just means remainder. So sometimes, you can't have a exact whole number after you divide, meaning that you're going to have something left over. That something left over is going to be called the remainder. So the remainder is a number, and right here it's represented in lowercase r, and it goes behind this uppercase r. So these are all things that you should know with remainders. Also, it's fine if you, so let's look at this b and this r right here. The r should be less than b at all times. Because if you find that the remainder is somehow equal to b or greater than b, you can actually fit another group of b into the quotient, meaning that you missed a group of b's. So you're just going to have to check that. So remember, the remainder is always less than the divisor, b. Because the whole point of this is just to see how many groups of b fit into a. And if you have a remainder that can fit another group of b in there, then you should probably add another group to the quotient. Okay, so now there's two things that I want to talk about. So, rounding holes. So here's what I mean. Sometimes you're going to need this, and maybe it's not going to seem why it's so relevant to know this yet, but you're going to need this. And this is actually pretty simple if you think about it. Let's do 21 divided by 9. And we're going to do this equation, okay? And we're going to put it in this form. 21 divided by 9 is 2, because 2 times 9 is 18. Remainder 3. So this makes sense. So the quotient is 2 and the remainder is 3. As you can see, the 3 is behind this r. Now, what we're going to do now is we're going to think about what is the closest multiple of 9 that's closest to 21 but not yet over. And this might seem really obvious to some people, or you might get confused because it is so obvious. What we're going to do is we're going to minus the remainder on both sides. So this side, we're going to have 18 divided by 9. And on the right side, we're going to have 2. This makes sense, right? 18 divided by 9 is 2. So 18 is the closest multiple of 9 to 21 that's not over it. And it may seem obvious to you. You could just be like, yeah, well, I'll just multiply 2 to 9. That's obvious, right? But sometimes you're going to need variables. So this is just a common sense fact I want you guys all to know, because sometimes you're going to have to use common sense in all of your problems. All right, now let's look at number 2, which is these 3 properties about remainders. So this is pretty interesting. I don't know if you've known this before, but this is really interesting. The remainder of the sum is the sum of remainders. The remainder of the difference is the difference of remainders, and the remainder of the product is the product of remainders. So these are 3 properties that you need to know.